What is going on, Tricology family, and welcome back to another episode of the Tricology News Talk. As this is the final episode of 2022, and we're gonna go out with a bang, y'all. With a couple things that happened this year. We got a lot of news for y'all, and also a movie review for you guys. So let's not waste time. Let's get straight on into it. As you guys already know, that tomorrow morning is the 2022 FIFA World Cup Finals, as Argentina goes against the reigning World Cup champs, France. So it's gonna be very interesting, y'all. So Argentina is coming in as the underdogs here against France. So Argentina's road, they beat Saudi Arabia, they beat Mexico, they beat Portland, they beat Australia, Netherlands, and Corga. And then for France, they beat Australia, Demonor, Telsa, Portland, England, and Marmorano, and to get to the World Cup finals here. So let me know in the comment section below, like, if you have watched the World Cup this year, let me know who you think is gonna win who's gonna win it all, who's gonna win the championship. Is it gonna be Argentina or is it gonna be France? So yeah, you guys let me know there. So but that's your the sports news. Now I got another question for you guys. So you guys already know that James Gunn and Peter Safran, they rebooting the entire DC universe. So the DC Extended Universe is gone. Okay? So, and I already broke the news to y'all last week that Henry Cavill is not returning as Superman. But they have put out a list of contenders of who should be the next Superman. So I got the list down here, and let's start off first with Jack Reiner. His most notable role was in Mansoor, Scene Street, and Transformers: The Age of Extinction. He looks alright, but not too sure yet. Let's go to Lucas Till. He was most famous for his roles in MacGyver, Monster Trucks, and X-Men the First Class. So, I mean, he looks that young style look for a young Superman, but we'll see. Next we have Zac Efron. He looks very noticeable, but and of course you guys know his roles in The Greatest Showman, The Greatest Beer Run Ever, Me and Orson Welles, and Baywatch. So Zac Efron look like a top contender here. Moving on, we got Nicholas Hoult. Now this is another good one here. He's most famous for his roles in Warm Bodies, his recent movie that just came out, The Menu, Max Match Fury Road, and X-Men: Days of Future Past. So he looks a very good top contender here. And moving on, we got Jack O'Connor. He's most notable. I don't know him too well, but he's most famous for Unbroken, Lady Charity's Lover, and Godless. I don't know about him. Moving on, you got Glenn Powell. Now this is definitely a good contender here. He's most noticed for his roles in Hidden Figures, the two recent movies that just came out this year, Devoted, and what you consider is one of the top 10 movies of this year, Top Gun Maverick. So he looks a good top contender here. Moving on, we got Aaron Taylor Johnson. So he's been in a lot of superhero roles, including Quicksilver, and he's he's most notable to play the next role in Kraven the Hunter. So he might do double duty doing Marvel and DC. That's if DC choose him to be Superman. But he's notable for his roles in Kick Ass, um, Avengers: Age of Ultron, which I say he was Quicksilver in that one. The rebooted Godzilla, and of course his latest movie that just came out this year, Bullet Train. So yeah, he looks good there. And moving on, we got Brendan T. Watts. He's most noticed for Titans, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man Tell No Tales, and Maleficent. And then last one we got, of course, is Michael B. Jordan. And he's most noticeable for his roles in Creed, Black Panther, Fruitable Station, and Fantastic Four. So yeah, so that's your top contenders. Who you think should be the next Man of Steel? So a lot of good contenders here, but let's see what James Cameron and Peter Safran have up their sleeves, and who they think is going to be the next the Superman. But I just gave you my list there, and let me know in the comment section who you think should be the next the Superman. But moving on, now we're going to go to what's streaming this week. We got National Treasure: Edge of History series that just came out on Disney Plus. We got The Game Season 2, which is on Paramount Plus. We got Who Killed Santa? A Murderville murder mystery, which is on Netflix. We got The Simpsons meets the Bolognese in Fleeman Deville, which is on Disney Plus. We got Cook at All Costs, which is on Netflix. We got Dance Monsters, that's on Netflix as well. Then we got If These Walls Could Sing, that's on Disney Plus. We got The Recruiter, that's on Netflix. And then lastly, we got 1923. This is a series I'm looking forward to. This is another Yellowstone origin story spinoff, and that's going to be on Paramount Plus. So that's what's streaming this week. Let me know which one of these streaming projects are you going to be watching. But moving on to our mainstream news. So let's get straight onto it. Brendan Fraser's The Whale sets a 2022 box office record. Let's see what Screenrant has to say. Pure Deadline. During The Whale's opening weekend in limited release, the film grossed $360,000. Excuse me. That's the 360,000 across 6 theaters. That has resulted in a pure screen average of 60,000, beating out its distributor A24's previous success, Everything Everywhere All at Once, to become the highest grossing limited release opening of 2022. Considering the fact that Everything Everywhere All at Once went on to become the highest grossing film that A24 has ever released, this could spell very good news for The Whale's prospect once open more in theaters. So, it had a limited release this weekend, but I think its worldwide release is going to be released in January, if I'm not too mistaken. But that's some really good numbers there, and this is Brendan Fraser's comeback in the world of theaters. So yeah, pretty good numbers there. Moving on. Boba Fett star disappointed in portrayal says Boba needs to be a badass again. And this is coming from Boba Fett star himself, Trevor Morrison. And he says, We have got to bring him back somewhere. We have got to see the old Boba Fett. We introduce him. We find out some stuff, but I think it's time to get him back to his badass ways. Not two ways around that. So I think we are certain to have that scope to get to go back there. But that's out of my control. I'll just see what happens. So yeah. We did see the Boba Fett season one. So the first half was kind of bland, but then when the Mandalorian started coming in, then it got more interesting. So I hope they'll do something new in season two. That's if there's going to be a season two. But until then, moving on. We got our first image of the Joker 2 that swing this surface on the internet, and people are so excited for it. So let's read the article that comes from Coming Soon. Joker 2 will once again be directed by Tom Phillips. The film will feature the return of Joaquin Phoenix as he reprised his Oscar-winning role as the title DC villain. He will be joined by Grammy winner superstar Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. No further details about its plot is still being kept under wraps, but the movie will feature some musical elements. The 2019 film, which was both critical and commercial success, with a worldwide gross of $1 billion in the box office, making it its highest grossing rated R film of all time. It receives a recognition of multiple major awards, giving bodies including 2 Oscars and 2 Golden Globe wins for both Best Actor and Best Original Sound. So I'm definitely looking forward to Joker 2, which it is coming out in 2024. So hopefully we get more details on that, and hopefully we get a first look of what Lady Gaga could look like as Harley Quinn. Moving on. Marvel campaigns for Thor 4 and Doctor Strange 2 for Best Picture Oscar nominees. Let's see what Comic Book Reader has to say. According to the official For Your Consideration site, Disney is pushing all of its 2022 variant Marvel Cinematic Universe installments to be considered for Best Picture Academy Award. All 3 of these afforded movies are targeting most nominees for Best Visual Effects, Best Director, Best Costume Design, and Best Adaptation Screenplay, and many others. The Academy has yet to announce their nominees for the 2023 ceremony, but the final list of contenders will be revealed in the coming months. Disney is pushing hard for Wakanda Forever in particular. The emotional blockbuster was also received as a tribute to the late Chadwick Boseman, has been fronting Angela Bassett, who played the grieving Queen Ramonda, for Best Supporting Actress. Now, I definitely agree on Angela Bassett should get a nominee for Best Supporting Actress in Wakanda Forever. Now, as far as Thor 4 and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, I do see that they might get Best Visual Effects and Best Costume Design. As far as Best Director and Best Adaptation Screenplay, I don't know about that, but that could happen. But we'll see. Moving on. Westworld and The Nevers has been removed from HBO Max after its cancellation. And this is what Variety has to say. The 2 shows are among multiple series that are being cut from the Warner Bros. Discovery owned streaming offers, along with Minter, which had already been renewed for season 2, and Love Life, who has yet been picked up for season 3, but of which, unlikely The Nevers and Westworld, were HBO Max originals. Sources close to the situation said it's possible that it's already finished a batch of The Nevers. Episodes will air on another platform. The removal of shows from HBO Max means Warner Bros. Discovery is able to save money in original pays to the cast and crews of production, on top of the money saved by not continuing of the shows at all. Now, just to keep you guys in sight, when HBO Max and the Discovery Plus come to one together, that streaming platform is just going to be called Max. That's all it's going to be called. But we don't know when we're going to get that big match. It's probably going to be either next year or maybe 2025. We still don't know yet. So there's going to be a lot of changes coming in. So just be prepared. Moving on. Christopher Nolan recreated the nuclear explosion without CGI effects for Optimeer. And this is what Variety had to say. I think recreating the Trinity test, the first nuclear weapon detector in New Mexico, without the use of computer graphics is a huge challenge to take on, Nolan said. Andrew Jackson, my usual visual effects supervisor, I got him on board early on. I was looking at how we could do a lot of visual elements on the film, particularly from representing quantum dynamics and quantum physics to the Trinity test itself to recreating with my team. Los Alamos up in immense in New Mexico in extravagant weather, a lot of which was needed for the film. In terms of very harsh conditions out there, there were huge practical challenge. This is going to be very interesting, and I did had Oppenheimer as one of my top anticipated movies for 2023. So I'm very excited. Well, what Christopher Nolan has up his sleeve. Moving on, and this is coming from Deadline here. Productions Dune for Dune Part 2 has already wrapped, according to Timothy Catcher. The actor who played Paul Bartos in the sci-fi film shares a photo on Instagram from the desert locations alongside his father, Mark Ricard. Dennis Villeneuve's Dune sequel began production in early of July this year and was wrapped in several locations like Batu Abadan, Jordan, and Italy. So I can't wait for Dune 2. That was also my anticipated movies for 2023. So Dune is looking like it's on a good patrol here. But moving on. Dwayne Johnson released a mislead Black Adam financial info, according to Warner Brothers executives. And this is what Comberry had to say. Executives at Warner Brothers reportedly claimed that Dwayne Johnson leaked inaccurate information about the profits of Black Adam. According to Pitts and Mac Albany, several Warner executives believe that Team Dwayne Johnson leaked the information to Deadline about the profitability of Black Adam as a way to counter previous reports that the DC film would lose the studio between 50 and 100 million. Bertrand wrote that suddenly leaked report was filled by false affidavits state that in long term, nearly all movies of this size will ultimately pencil out at that every window is exhausted over years and years. Listen, y'all. I said it before. The DC Extended Universe is dead. And this is one of the reasons. Okay? So it is what it is. Moving on. Peyton Reeves teased Fantastic Four Productions art surface at Marvel Studios. And this is what Peyton Reeves had to say for himself. Matt Sheckman is going to do great. And I have seen the international artwork for the Fantastic Four. Stuff around the Marvel offices is going to be great. I developed Fantastic Four 22 years ago for about a year. Way to pre-Marvel Studios, and at the time, Fox did not want to make the movie as big as these movies now are. So, I think I kind of channel my passion for Fantastic Four into the Ant-Man movies, because you know they are both stories about families of superheroes. To me, 20 years is a long time, and I want someone else to do the Fantastic Four. So we got some information on what is yet to come for the production of Fantastic Four. So it's going to be very interesting. Moving on, John Krasinski killed fans' hope that he will be Richard Reeves in Fantastic Four, and this is coming from John Krasinski himself. There aren't any discussions at all. The only discussion I have was actually in the second to last week of Jack Reiner. Kevin Feige called and said, "You will ever fly into LA and play in our sandbox for a day." I was honored to do it. I flew right up at this when we wrapped and went right on into the Doctor Strange set. I was a big fan of those characters and that world, so I get to play in that sandbox for one day, which was a real thrill. So, man, that is crazy. So, we just want to find out who's going to be the new Fantastic Four. That's all we want to find out. That's it. Moving on. James Gunn is writing a new and younger Superman movie. Like I discussed before, y'all gotta let me know who you think should be the next Superman. But let's see what the Hollywood Reporter has to say about this. James Gunn is making his first big move at DC, which will pen a Superman movie. The project will focus on the younger years of the hero. At this stage, Gunn is mercilessly writing the script through his potential directing, depending on where his services are needed at DC Studios. According to insiders, through this Superman will be on the younger side. He won't be living in Smallville, rather than be in Daily Planet reporting Clark Kent, according to insiders. So, like I said before, guys, the DC universe is changing. So we're going to get entirely new actors for every single DC character that is to there. So so right after I would say after Aquaman 2, the DC Standing Universe is gone. That's it. It doesn't matter what's gonna happen in the Flash. It's all gonna be gone. So moving on. Superman No More. Cavill is out, but could return to DC for a new role. That's going to be very interesting. But let's see what the Hollywood Reporter has to say. Cavill post came just as Gunn tweeted that he will be writing a new Superman film set to focus on the sentimental DC superhero younger years. Cavill could be in the midst to play a different DC character down the road. Peter and I have a DC slate ready to go, which it couldn't be more over the moon about. We will be able to share some exciting info about our first projects at the beginning of the year. Gunn wrote, the filmmaker added that he and Saffron had a good meeting with Henry, and we are big fans, and we had talked about a number of exciting possibilities to work together in the future. Now, so based on this report, so in the beginning of the year, we will get information on what's the plans for James Gunn and Peter Safran for their new the DC slate and their DC and their DC universe. So based on this report is that Henry Cavill might not be leaving DC at all, but we all know he's not going to be Superman, but he's probably going to be in a different role. So I said this before with Jason Momoa. So after Aquaman 2, Jason Momoa might not be Aquaman no more, but they are leaning for him to play as Lobo, and which is a good thing too. And then same thing goes for Ben Affleck. We all know he's not going to be Batman anymore, but James Gunn and Ben Affleck had a discussion for Ben Affleck to come in and direct a DC film. So and they had it in the plans before to for Ben Affleck to direct the DC film. But I don't know. Is it gonna be a Batman film? We don't know yet. So at least Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck are in good terms with James Gunn. So let's see what James Gunn and PD Software have at plan for the new DC Standard Universe. So this is some good news here. So now we finally got some good news out of it. So moving on, Rian Johnson could see his Star Wars trilogy may not happen. So this is what IndieWire has to say. There is nothing like telling a story in this world than experiencing people truly connecting to it and letting you know that it is extraordinary. So I am hoping to get it do it again. But nothing is the end of the world until the end of the world actually happens. It is just at this point a matter of schedule and when it can happen. Johnson said, "It will break my heart if I was finished. If I couldn't get back in that sandbox at some point." So I guess Rian Johnson might be done with Star Wars. So it is what it is. But moving on. Warhammer 4K is coming to Amazon, where Henry Cavill set to star and produce. So Henry Cavill might have got a new project on hand since he's not coming back as Superman in the new DC Standard Universe or as The Witcher in season 4. But at least he got a new project coming on, so that's good news there. So let's read what the Hollywood Reporter has to say. Henry Cavill might not be done with a red cape, but he does have a new cool gig. The actor who Wednesday hung up his Man of Steel cape after Warner Bros. Announced is going with a new direction in Superman, and Henry Cavill is attached to star and executive produce a series adaptation of Warhammer 4K. 40K, the popular science fiction fantasy miniature war game that is set up to Amazon. Amazon is in the final talks of the rights to the game. Produced by the Game Workshop, after months of the negotiations and fed up to rival companies, also sought the rights. So that's some good news there. So Henry Cavill got some new things coming up. So that's some very good news there. So that's all the mainstream news that I got for you guys today. So let's get into our movie review today. And of course, you guys already know it's Avatar: The Way of Water. And once again, it's directed by James Cameron. And and you see Sam Worthworth, Zoe Saldana, Steph Lane, Joy David Morris, CCH Pounder, Gilsey Robinson, Soraya Winter come in. The returns include new cast members in Kate Winslet, Cliff Curtis, Eddie Fred, and Clarissa Clement. So this took 10 years to make this movie. But I understand why it took 10 years. They wanted to make this right, as good as it could be. So yeah. So this definitely looks good. And going on to the story here. So I think this is set like maybe decades after the first one. I don't know how the story is, but Jake Sully lives with his newfound family forged in the executive moon of Pandora. Once a familiar threat returns to finish what they previously started, Jake must work with Navi and an army of the Navi race to protect their home. So when I watched this movie, it definitely had the same narratives as the first one did, but some of those narratives was very different. It had a similar tone to the Godfather, which that they previously said they were what they was gonna do, but yeah, it was just mostly focused on the new clans and all this, trying to learn each other's culture and all this, yeah, but we was able to see a lot of new expansions in the world of Avatar Pandora, which we didn't get in the first movie. So that's why I liked about the second one. So we were able to see, because we only seen the jungle in the world of Pandora, but now we get to see more lands and in other stuff. So this was definitely a learn each other's culture and all this stuff. So when Jake's family went to hide out with another clan, so they was most notable in flying in the banshees up in the air. But when they met the new clan, and they had to learn how to fight on water and underwater as well. And speaking of underwater, this one had great underwater scenes. Like, oh my god! If you're a fan of watching the Natural Geographic and watching like underwater stuff, you will be definitely amazed. Like the visual effects in this movie, the cinematography and everything. This was truly great, and I understand why they took the it took 10 years to make this movie. If you guys watch the behind the scenes of how they was able to shoot stuff underwater and how it took the actors to swim and all that other stuff, man, it's incredible to watch. And visually, it looks great. Like most of the times when you see like that visual effects and CGI stuff, like it get criticized sometimes, but like when you look at this movie, like this one was truly great. Like you can even tell that the Navi people look actually real. Like that this was truly great and very nice. Now I know a lot of people talk about the runtime in this movie. Of course, you guys already know the first one was like 3 hours and stuff. And when people watched the first one, they was like, "Oh, I don't care about the human people. I just want to see all the Na'vi people. That's why I care about." Now, I know some people may have criticized the runtime for this one, but if you truly enjoy this movie, um you would not even worry about the runtime. If you really like watch this movie and really enjoy it, those 3 hours will fly by. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so definitely this was truly great. This is one of those movies that I would see in 3D because just when you look at it and definitely to see the visuals and everything, especially when you look at all the underwater scenes and all that stuff. So I didn't really care to see a lot of movies in 3D. I know 3D has been around a long time, so but yeah, this is one of those movies that I would see in 3D, and I saw this one in IMAX. So yeah, definitely see this movie in IMAX 3D. But I know some people might watch this either on Screen Ads, 4D ads, Dolby Cinema. So that's your choice. But yeah, but all those screens you definitely gonna be seeing in 3D. But yeah, other than that, this was great. I definitely got this in my top 10 best films of 2022. As far as like a cinema score, I would give this probably an A. Yeah, definitely give this one an A. So this was very good. So I would recommend all of y'all need to see this in theaters because this is definitely worth seeing in theaters. If you cannot wait until like this is gonna be in the theaters for a while before it come out on streaming and video on demand and all that stuff. So y'all better go see it in theaters while y'all can. So that's all I can say about that. But that's my movie review. So let's get into our rankings for today, and then we're gonna be going over the my top 10 best movies of 2022. All right, so let's get into our honorable mentions here before we get into our top 10. So my honorable mentions, I got Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and even though this was a solid sequel to the first one, but I still like the first one better. That's all it is. Even though this was a great solid sequel to the first one, and this was a great tribute to Chadwick Boseman, and I can't wait to see what they have plans for Black Panther going into the next phases of the MCU. Next one is the Gray Men. I definitely enjoyed this movie, and you got to see Ryan Gosling versus Chris Evans. So this was definitely a great action movie to watch. Um, and then Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Not exactly what I was expecting, but it was good nonetheless. And this was definitely a great sequel. Definitely better than the first one. So yeah, this was really good. Um, Next one is Elvis. Pretty good, but biopic of Elvis, and I know it got a lot of awards. So and they even pushing Austin to be the next Human Torch in Fantastic Four, but we'll see how it goes. And then lastly, Guillermo del Toro's and Pinocchio. And I gotta say, this one was a better Pinocchio than what Disney was trying to do with Pinocchio with Tom Hanks. So yeah, that one was garbage, but Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio was great. So I definitely y'all definitely check out and watch that on Netflix. So yeah, so let's get into our top 10. Number 10 would be The Woman King. I definitely enjoyed this movie, and this was definitely a historical movie for you guys to check out. So yeah, I definitely love that. Um, Number 9, Hustle. I love me some basketball movies. In case y'all didn't know, I did play basketball. It's one of my favorite sports. Yeah, I definitely played basketball when I was in high school. So definitely with Adam Sandler. It definitely had some rocky moments in this. So yeah, feel good basketball tales to watch. So yeah, that's my number 9. Number 8 would have to be X. This is one of my uh, top favorite horror movies for this year. It definitely paid homage to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. So yeah, so this is one of those horror movies that horror slasher movies that you guys need to check out. So yeah. So moving on to number 7 is Jordan Peele's latest project, Nope. So yeah, this was Jordan Peele's take in the sci-fi horror thriller. So yeah, this one was definitely good. And moving on to number 6 is Disney Pixar's Turning Red. Now, this is one of those movies that I feel that should have been came out in theaters, but they had it streaming on Disney Plus. I'm like, but it is what it is. So this was a definitely good the Disney Pixar movie for this year, and so yeah, this was really good. And moving on to number 5 is the Norman. This is one of those another historic movies that you guys need to check out. It was bloody. It was very good tale to watch. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed the Norman. And coming in at number 4 is the Batman. So yeah, Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson gave us a good, feel dark detective story of the Batman. So I can't wait to see what Matt Reeves has up his sleeve for the sequel, and also the Penguin series, and also the Arkham Asylum series. So yeah, that's gonna be in the works. So yeah, we can't wait for that. And coming in at number 3 is Top Gun Maverick, and Tom Cruise returning to his one of his good roles, and this was definitely a good movie. So I hope they can make another sequel to this. This one was really good. And coming in at number 2 is Everything Everywhere All at Once. Now, this is something that Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness wish it could be. So this was a definitely good multiverse movie. So this is one of the movies you guys definitely need to check out. And lastly, number one, you guys already know it. It's Avatar, the Way of Water. So yeah, I did my review on Avatar, the Way of Water. So yeah, that's definitely my number one there. But that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for joining me for this year. And in 2023, we're gonna have some new surprises for y'all today. And of course, if you're listening to me on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell when new episodes are uploaded. And of course, if you're listening to me on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or any other podcast streaming platform, don't forget to follow me there. But other than that, this is Trico, and I will see y'all in 2023. Peace.